Patrick Daly here, and welcome to episode number 10 of For the Week That's In It. And this week we're going to be talking about the New World Disorder. So this week I listened to a fascinating interview with Gilles Capel on the Talberg Foundation podcast. And Gilles was talking about the geopolitical shifts currently taking place in the Middle East, where new alignments are arising between the countries of the region and the big global powers such as the US, China and European Union. And these relationships and alignments are morphing and changing as we speak. So geopolitics in the region is becoming more complex, nuanced, less rigidly aligned, and very much more difficult to predict and even to interpret what exactly is going on. And this is giving rise to some very strange situations, at least to our eyes here in the West. So, for example, we've seen Turkey, a NATO member and ally, purchasing military equipment from Russia, and we've seen China brokering a peace deal between the two enemies, Saudi Arabia and Iran. And this is just the Middle East. So the same type of thing is going on in other parts of the world, other parts of Asia, Africa and Latin America, affecting other key players out there, important countries such as Brazil, South Africa and India, to name just a few. So what's going on and what's playing out, I think, is one of those manifestations of one of the big global trends that I've spoken about here on this series before, namely geopolitical fragmentation. So you may ask, why am I telling you about geopolitics on a business-focused video series? And the reason is because I strongly believe that businesses all over the world now are going to have to be paying a lot more attention to the geopolitics of the places where their customer markets are, where their production facilities are located, distribution centers, suppliers, and so on. And in fact, a detailed understanding of the geopolitical weather, so to speak, in the relevant locations, I think is going to be a key input to the design and operation of international supply chain solutions in the future, in a way that just wasn't the case before. And the thing is, this geopolitical weather is becoming ever more variable. So question, are businesses ready for this challenge? Short answer, no, they're not. And why? Well, because this trend has been evolving for some time, maybe 20 years or more, but it's only really been in recent years that the pace of change has increased dramatically and the trend has become much more obvious. So with a few notable exceptions, many businesses have simply just not been paying enough attention, and they're now behind the curve playing catch up. And what is certainly the case now, I think, is that this process of geopolitical fragmentation is not going to slow down anytime soon, and it has major implications for strategy development and implementation and decision taking for businesses trading internationally. So I think consequently being tuned in locally to where you have key interests, being agile in response to changes, being cognizant of the risks, having options for preventive and contingent responses to events prepared in advance and ready to go are all going to be key capabilities to ensure resilience in the face of this unfolding reality. So here are some questions I'll leave you with to ponder. So what is the geopolitical weather in the places where you have key interests? By that I mean customers, factories, warehouses, suppliers, and how might that geopolitical weather affect your interests in the future? Whose responsibility is it within your organization to be aware of and across all this detail? And who has the competence and the acumen to fulfill this role? And thirdly and lastly, how do you ensure that this knowledge and information, once acquired, gets to the right places to shape and influence the relevant decisions, strategies, and tactics within your business? So food for thought. That's all for this episode. See you back here next week for some more tips and insights on For the Week That's In It. Take care.